Raw mouse input or lower when ADS? Oh, all uniform. You should never ever use a lower. Dude, muscle memory is everything. 83 is your friend. 83. Never more, never less. 83 makes up for a 1-for-1 movement. So it takes, say, whatever. Say it takes 9 inches for me to do this, right? For me to do 180. With 83 sensitivity, it also takes 9 inches for me to do 180 while ADS'd. Because 83 is what this weird-ass games engine does to become 1-to-1 movement. Whether you're this, or an ACOG, or this, or you do it halfway. Same amount of mouse pad moves me the same amount, whether or not you're aimed in or not aimed in. And that means, for muscle memory, when you're like, oh shit, flick, and start shooting, because you're never going to ADS, you're not going to wait till you're aimed and then ADS. People do this and they go in like on the way in. Whether you're doing it there, or you do it here and then go, or you do it here and then go at the last second, like, it helps with your ability to land on the same person every time. You know, like that's... You want that to be the same always, otherwise you're gonna have bad muscle memory, and it's gonna lead to bad gameplay. And that's just the way it is. Some things will never be the same. I'm not using raw mouse input because it just causes weird problems. It doesn't work as advertised. And there's, like, my mouse input is raw anyway. My mouse does what it's supposed to. I know when my mouse doesn't feel right. My mouse feels right. A good DPI doesn't necessarily matter. Like 800 is the keyword, is the fucking buzzword answer, because that's what most pros put their thing to. But your mouse DPI is not the same as your effective DPI.
Make sure you
yield for traffic. My mouse DPI is 1000. But the baseline engine for effective DPI, like how to measure effective DPI, is the source engine, because it's been around the longest. It's the only relevant engine that's been around the longest because of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So effectively a 1.0 in-game sensitivity in Counter-Strike, it means that whatever your mouse DPI is set to is also your effective DPI. So if you have a 1.0 sensitivity in Counter-Strike, and you set your mouse DPI to 1000, you have an effective DPI of 1000. But that translates differently from engine to engine. However, so for example, somebody might use 400 DPI with an in-game sensitivity in Counter-Strike of 2.5, which means their effective DPI is 400 times 2.5, or also 1000. So even though their mouse is 400 DPI and my mouse is 1000 DPI, we have the exact same sensitivity. When I move my mouse from one side of the mouse pad to the other, his mouse will go the same distance. This is from my left side of the mouse pad to the right side. It's basically like a 180, a little bit more than 180. You know, so the 6 inches on my mouse pad with 1000 DPI at 1.0 will be the same distance in game as 6 inches on his mouse pad at 400 DPI with 2.5 in game. Does that make sense? For Rainbow Six, for example, you can convert that DPI to other games as well. So for Rainbow Six, 1.0 in Global Offensive is 3.85 in Rainbow Six. Or just 4. Like 4 is close enough. You can actually adjust to 3.85 with the INI, but 4.0 was fine. Like just using 4 in game. So 4 in game in Siege is the same as 1 in game in Counter-Strike. So my DPI of 1000 with 4 in Siege is an effective DPI of 1000. No shit! So, for example, Chris missed with 400 DPI and 1414 is probably a higher DPI than mine. Like, he probably moves, like, you probably cover more ground. Like, you're actually a higher sensitivity than me, because I'm 483 and 1000 DPI versus your 1414, 83, and 400 DPI. It's also worth noting that higher in-game and lower DPI is worse technically than higher DPI and lower in game. It's like having a higher or lower resolution on the same size monitor, because your mouse is reading more information and thus moving smoother over the same distance with a higher DPI but lower in game. So if your in-game sense, like technically speaking, 1000 DPI at 1.0 in Counter-Strike is a better DPI than 2.5 in Counter-Strike with 400 DPI. That's like it's a less smooth DPI, and it won't technically get you as smooth of an input as 1000 will. Just like seeing 1080 on a 24-inch screen is clearer than seeing 720 on a 10-inch screen. It's kind of like what your mouse sees. But yeah, effective DPI is the number that matters, not just your not just the arbitrary DPI you set your mouse to. Because if you set your mouse to 400 but then set your in-game super fucking high, then it's not slow. Fast. And if you have a high DPI but set it super fucking slow in game, then it's probably slow. I mean, the easiest way to measure it is pick a point on the map and put a ruler on your mouse pad and measure out, say, 6 inches or 9 inches on that ruler. 9 is a good one because it's like more distance. Do like 9 inches on the ruler and move your mouse from 0 inches to 9 inches and see where it ends, like lands you in game. And then like up your DPI, say to 800 or 1000 or whatever, and then lower your in game until you get the same distance. Like you just lower it until on the ruler 6 inches or 9 inches or whatever gets you the same amount. That's the easiest way. Like you don't have to do any math or any conversion of any engines or anything like that. You literally just use your DPI of whatever you like, and you know, so for me that's 1000, and then you just fucking put it on a ruler and adjust in game slowly until you get to where 9 inches is the same amount that you want it to be. So if you really like your sensitivity in like CSGO and you're like 9 inches makes me do a 180, then adjust Siege down in game, like keep your DPI the same, but adjust your in game down until 9 inches makes you do a 180.